Yeah, I mean, I think, without going into like the really sort of fringe sort of conspiracy stuff, which is still a thing, but most of what happens, as far as I've been able to tell, by really paying attention, is you just have this kind of people have a conditioned worldview, and then they go through certain channels and they get into, an academic institution or some kind of research, a corporation or what have you, and then their position and their income depends on towing the line and reifying the established viewpoint and theories and ideas. So in a sense, a lot of people find themselves kind of cornered, and they're in a difficult position where they can't really, there's not a lot of room to move conceptually or to do like groundbreaking work because it's not welcome. What's welcome is data that supports the existing belief system. And then, there are these gatekeepers in virtually anywhere you look, all the major scientific journals, all the major institutions, the academic, all the universities and stuff, they get these tenured, people in there. They get people doing peer review and all this kind of stuff who are essentially slaves to that established paradigm, the establishment view. And then they don't want to know about the things that don't support that view, the things that completely shift the paradigm, because they're egoically invested in the status quo. They're making their income off of it. They're maybe making some other bonuses on the side, but once the ego gets entangled with that, and the problem is that because of the amnesia that most people are born with, they have a very, very unbelievably limited sense of identity. And so they go, oh, well, because, they have, firstly, they have the amnesia, but then they're born into a materialistic paradigm and a reductionistic kind of approach to, the scientific kind of model of the world. And that reifies their limited identity. And they buy into, well, I'm just the body, I'm just my thoughts and opinions and feelings and my family and the sports team I like and all that. So then they get stuck with this really unbelievably inflexible, tiny view of themselves that is supported by the social dynamics and the corporate dynamics and the university situations and the paradigms that exist. And they go into that. And so there's this kind of like ongoing kind of feedback loop that supports itself. It's a very slow, it's slow to change because it's built in a way that it just inherently is resistant to change. So it's this kind of juggernaut that keeps lumbering ahead. And these annoying little mosquitoes who, or mavericks who rock up and say, oh, well, I've got some data here that's really like groundbreaking and amazing, or we can show that your ideas are not right. Well, we flick them out of the way because that's inconvenient to the ego and all sorts of other things, like getting paid and putting food on the table.